Battery charging controllers, we have a basic 12-volt, 24-volt automatic detect 8-amp controller. That's the controller of choice for most applications. If somebody just wants to create their own system with a solar panel, this can handle 120 watt, well actually 240 watt solar panel. So enclosures, these are the enclosures we use for the TP UPS. The new enclosure is the one on the right. It's going to be a steel enclosure. This enclosure will be available probably in July, later July, and that's when we'll fully release our 15-watt Remote Pro system, which uses this enclosure. This is a very high-quality enclosure. It's got a tamper-resistant closure for the cover, so customers can't just open it up, and it's got a key, so it comes with a key. And that key operates the enclosure. It's a steel enclosure, very heavy duty. It's going to be shipped with a pole mount bracket, or it can be wall mounted. As can all the enclosures. They can all be pole mounted or wall mounted. Batteries, we have a new 12-volt 9-amp-hour gel battery that we offer. Gel is the absolute best performance and temperature from -60 to +60. Gel is also the best for deep discharge performance. The other battery that we use for our smaller systems is the 9-amp-hour AGM battery. AGM is actually excellent for temperature range, but it's got a lower temperature range than the gel batteries, and they're not as good for deep discharge. When you have multiple deep discharge. So that's one of the reasons. In our systems, the controller doesn't let the battery go into a deep discharge situation. The controller turns off the load at 11 volts. So if the batteries get down to 11 volts, the controller turns off the load, and so the battery never really hits the deep discharge area that reduces the life of the battery. So these batteries should be 5 years typical, both of them. Power supplies, multiple power supplies, PoE inserters and splitters, all different varieties we carry. One thing I just mentioned, this wall mount bracket. It's a new product of ours. We just came out with it. It's a very heavy-duty bracket that can be used to mount like a ubiquity unit or canopy unit to a wall. Very low cost, very heavy-duty. It can also be used for mounting our weather station to a wall, or pretty much anything like that. So it's got a 1.5 diameter pole, and it's 5.5 inches tall. So, and let's see, that's about it. So I should take questions. We're running out of time. So.
Hey, Scott, that was a wonderful presentation. We do have a few questions. You had spoken about a number of your products that have batteries built into them. Can you tell us, you told us what the lifespan of these batteries were. What about the batteries that are in the systems themselves? What's the lifespan?
They're 5 years.
And on the wind turbines, do they include charge controllers?
Yes, they do.
And could you go over just a little bit about who's the best party, what kind of applications and which type of people should be using remote backup?
It's really, remote backup would be somebody that has no access to AC power, right? There's no access to power at a site. Would use a remote backup system. Now, the UPS Pro is more, it's not really a remote backup system, but it's an outdoor UPS. So that's more of a backup system for people that want to keep their equipment up 24/7. So if they have power failures in their area quite often, they would want a backup system. And the outdoor backup systems are much better than having the indoor backup systems, because you can get a lot more backup time out of the outdoor systems.
Great. That's all the questions that we have for right now, and I'd like to invite anyone who would like to see this again. We will be posting a copy of the webinar and make it available so people can see it. Again, this is Tycon Power Systems, and you've been listening to Scott Parsons, who's the CEO and CTO of Tycon Power Systems. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email them to richard@streakwave.com, and I'll push them on to the right place. And that being said, we'd like to thank Scott Parsons for coming to Streakwave and presenting his presentation today. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, you're welcome.
And at this point, we'll conclude the webinar.